Welcome back, AXG here, and we're going to continue on with my time as manager with West Ham United. Now the very first thing I wanted to do is replace the scouts that I'd got rid of. Unfortunately there was no one I was interested in yet, so we had to move on. I didn't want to go into the transfer market without some scouts telling me how good players were, so we just went on with a week, went to training, saw what kind of players I had already, needed to find out what positions I needed to replace. And even after a week, still no good applications, no scout that I really wanted. I was getting a bit worried, to be honest. I didn't want to go too far towards the end of the transfer window without a scout. But then I found my man, Reece Waghorn. Came in, impressed me with his footballing knowledge, told me he could find me the players I needed. Give the guy a go. In comes Reece Waghorn, my first signing. I know it's not a big name signing. It didn't even make the newspapers, but he became really valuable to me. So it was worth the wait, should I say. Then we started to get active in the transfer window. Southampton came in for Jack Collison, 1.6 million. I said, look, I'd rather a hard bargain. You can have him for 1.9. If you're not willing to meet that, then you can't have him at all. I thought about where to send Reece Waghorn after that. He came in, he had his bags ready. He was like, I'll go anywhere in the world for you, mate. I ended up deciding on sending him to somewhere in Europe. Somewhere I knew there was a lot of talent. Somewhere I knew he would find me some good players. And if he couldn't find me good players there, then I knew I'd hired the wrong guy. So we ended up sending him to the River Daisy, Netherlands, Holland, looking for the new good players like, say, Christian Eriksen and all the players that always start off their career there, always turn out to be legends. But I did think over it. I was thinking, should I send him to Belgium? I know there's a lot of good Belgians at the moment. Send him to Spain, send him to Portugal, send him to Serie A, La Liga, League One. But no, I went with the Dutch League. Hopefully find me some cheap good players, because I didn't have a massive transfer budget. But it's something I could work with. And then it was all about waiting. What would he find me? But before that happened, in comes a transfer offer for Mark Noble. Now, a lot of West Ham fans wouldn't agree with me selling Mark Noble, but being a manager is about making tough decisions. Asked Aston Villa, give me 2.1 and you can have him. The press weren't exactly very kind to me because they hadn't had me linked with anyone yet. So they were like, selling two of your players, you're not bringing anyone in. And I was like, just be patient. I will get there. I will bring people in. You just need to hold your horses. I will get the job done. You don't need to worry about me. Aston Villa come back, say, look, we only want to offer 1.9. Man, I'm going to stand my ground. Mark Noble's a decent player. If he stays, I can still use him. So you can pay me a little bit extra, or you can just move on, try and find someone else. I'm not going to be bullied in the transfer market. I refuse to be bullied in the transfer market by anyone. Just because I'm the new boy in the Premiership doesn't mean you can go, oh, this is all we're going to pay. No, I'll get the money I think I should get for a player. First player to sell was George McCartney. Wasn't really needed. I had my left backs. I had Rat. I had O'Brien. So McCartney could go. Then we got a loan offer for Leo Chambers. Hoping for good things from him, but look who come in. MK Dons. I ain't gonna lie, I was a Wimbledon fan when I was younger. Milton Keynes can off. I ain't doing anything for Milton Keynes if I can help it, other than beating them. Scout comes back with some players. Ones I was interested in were Memphis Depay and Lucas Piazon. Two players I knew were good, knew would have good potential, and could become stars here at West Ham. Now, Piazon I didn't hold out much hope for. I knew he was on loan at Vitesse. I knew Chelsea had plans for him in themselves, but in the future, you never know. I'm sure Chelsea had plans for Kevin De Bruyne, but that's gone nowhere. So, still fingers crossed. Hopefully we can get Lucas Piers on in the future. But Memphis Depay, might bring him in. We'll see if anyone else comes in, but we'll definitely have an inquiry. See how much he's going for. And 19-year-old left wing. One for the future. Had a look at some of the other players. You had Hay, you had Brahim Darry. And I was looking for a striker. So I did think about them, but to be honest, I wasn't majorly impressed with what the scout had brought back in regards to those players. The only two I really wanted were Lucas Piazon and Memphis Depay. Aston Villa then finally gave in to my demands and met my 2.1 million evaluation of Mark Noble. So that's 200k extra. I got the club by standing my ground. And then Reece Waghorn came back and said, alright, that's all I can find in the Dutch league. I was like, really? Maybe I should not be so strict on what you're looking for, because there has to be not better, but more young good players in the Dutch league than what you found. You found 10. That can't be it. That really can't be it. We sold Mark Noble. We got 1.8 to go in our transfer budget from that. And as you can see, player conversations. Player came in to talk to me. The player was none other than Ravel Morrison. He wanted Mark Noble's spot. Now, maybe he didn't really understand why I was selling Mark Noble. I was selling Mark Noble because I didn't have any use for him. Mark Noble was never going to be a first team player for me, but obviously he saw one less midfielder and he was hoping for a chance to prove himself. And I sat him down and I told him, look, you were always going to get a chance to prove yourself. Man United saw something in you. West Ham saw something in you before I came along, and I see something in you, so you'll get a chance to prove yourself. Now, PSV wanted 4.1 million for Memphis Depay. That was a bit more than I wanted to spend, to be honest. So I looked at who I could get rid of. Who could I send over to PSV in exchange for Memphis Depay? And I eventually decided on Matthew Taylor. Like for like swap. Left midfield for left wing. Matthew Taylor's getting old. Memphis Depay's young. Has the world at his feet. We'll see if PSV accept. And then West Brom come in. They match my evaluation of Jack Collison. So that's 2 for 2 as far as selling some of my big players go, and making the club match my evaluation, which is always good. Scout report came back for Lucas Piazon. Look at that. I know I'm probably not going to get him this year, but you can always inquire. You never know. You got to be in it to win it. And then Jordan Spence came to my office and said, look, I was hoping you might rotate the squad. And I was like, I might do. It's a friendly. You never know. And anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. Tune in next time. AXG, West Ham United. Let's see what we can do in the friendly.